Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the 19-year-old Chinese figure skater Zhu Yi crashing not once but twice at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. Now, China, I think they were right in the bronze medal position, but when she crashed, that knocked them out totally. So they went from third to fifth. And I think in order, you had Russia getting the gold, U.S. getting silver, Japan getting the bronze, and that's kind of contentious right there because China could have got the bronze rather than Japan. That's a whole big thing right there, but I'll move on. I think Canada came in fourth, and then China came in fifth. So the Chinese are not happy at all with Zhu Yi, not in the least bit. On their app, on a social media app called Weibo, they lit into her, tore her up. How dare you fall? This was disgusting. Why they pick her? She can't speak Chinese. I mean, they lit her up. They lit her up. Like it was no grace, no nothing. It was not like, oh, well, you failed. It's okay. No. It's like, look, man, if you're going to be in China performing with us and doing X, Y, and Z, then you got to do well. And if not, then you got to get out of here. Okay. Now, the elephant in the room is that Zhu Yi was not born in China. She was born Beverly Zhu in the U.S. Now, her parents are Chinese, and I guess she's ethnic Chinese. I'm not sure if it's Han or whatever, probably Han Chinese. But she was raised in the United States. She renounced her U.S. citizenship in 2018 to go compete in China because in China ain't no dual citizenship. If you want to be a Chinese citizen, you got to be a Chinese citizen, period. Nothing else. You can't be, a citizen in U.S. or Canada or somewhere else. You Chinese or that's it. Now, in the U.S., it's different. If you want to be a dual citizen, like, for example, you come from Brazil and then you want to come to the U.S. as well and get citizenship, you can be a citizen in both. You don't have to renounce or defect from your country of origin to another spot in the U.S. to be a citizen. But as far as the Chinese, you got to defect. And I think the word defect and the way I'm using it, it's not like how the Cubans or whatever would do it. Well, I guess it's similar, but not quite. You don't have to escape. You're not prevented from leaving the U.S., obviously, but you have to renounce your citizenship in favor of a rival for economic reasons or political or whatever. And that's why Zhu Yi, a.k.a. Beverly, did that because she wanted to compete with China. Now, I'm not sure if it's like one of these transformer type things, like UPenn with, was that Leah Thomas or, the 2022 Joanna Man in real life. I'm not sure if it's that, meaning maybe Beverly Zhu could not compete with the U.S. figure skaters. She's like, you know what? Okay, rather than being over here, I'm going to go to China. But I'm not sure if that makes any sense because, okay, if she did that in 2018, we're now in 2022. She's 19 right now. Let's say she turns 20 this year, just to be fair, because it's early in the year. So if she turns 20 this year, 4 years ago, she would have been 16. So did you know at 16 that you wouldn't be able to compete with your, I'm not sure what the ages are as far as being in the window of competition as far as figure skater. If you are one of these gymnasts, they start pretty young. And if you're like 28 still doing gymnastics, you're kind of old. So I'm not really sure what it is figure skaters, but maybe it's kind of young, but I digress. The whole point is that maybe it was a competition thing that she couldn't really cut the mustard with the girls in the U.S., or maybe she just wants to be Chinese and just say, you know what? All right, I'm going to leave the U.S. and go over here. And her dad is a professor at Peking University in Beijing, an award-winning AI scientist. So big brain genius. And that was a problem with the Chinese because they were saying, well, they picked her because her dad is this award-winning guy. He's got money. Their name, the Zhu name, that has clout. That's why they picked her. I mean, it was no grace shown. The thing that I've learned about the Chinese is that they don't really care about all this stuff. Like, remember, it might have been Simone Biles or somebody that had quit during the Olympics. And what happened? Oh, we understand. You need your mental break and all this and that and the third. Remember that? And I'm like, no, like you go to the Olympics and you perform. You may not be doing very well, but you perform, right? You don't just say, all right, I'm gonna sit this event out because I'm not really feeling in my mental space, and I'm gonna go to this one because I like that one, but I'm gonna sit this one out. It was weird. It was weird, you know, especially when you have the Olympics every 4 years. It's not you don't have it every day. It's every 4 years. So if you're going to go out there, if you're going to be on a team, if you're going to be representing your country, you got to perform. You may not do well, but it is what it is. Now, I think the excuse ultimately was she had the twisties, which is some kind of like vertigo type condition. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But that's more of, I guess you would say, an injury, but not necessarily an injury. Basically, it's a thing that prevents you from performing well or at all. That's not necessarily just you feeling bad or being sad or, you know, having a lot of pressure on your back or anything like that. But the initial story was, I need a mental break, all this, that, and the third. And a lot of people were right behind her. You go, girl, take a break. It's okay. Don't let them run you, rag you, not a slave, all types of stuff. Now, that's in the U.S. That's how we do things in the U.S. Not me, but here. Now, imagine if Zhu Yi would have quit, not just falling and crashing what she did. I mean, she fell and crashed into the wall. It was nuts. Like, but not just that. What did she just say? You know what? I don't want to do it. I'm not really feeling well. Put it to you like this. She fell twice. So the first time she fell, she could have said, okay, I'm injured. I'm done. I'm not mentally in it. It's too much pressure. The Olympics are right here in Beijing. I'm living in Beijing. My dad, my mom, my family in the audience. Weibo, they bullying me. I'm going to just hold this one out. Can you imagine? Like, that right there might get her in actual legal trouble. I wouldn't be surprised. Remember that video? You may or may not have seen it, of the Dutch reporter. He was out there in Peking, Beijing. He was covering the Olympics for the Netherlands channel, whatever station it was. And the Chinese security guard came right on and scooped him out, like got him out of the way. Like, you can't be right here. Go over there. It'd be something like that, but you go into an undisclosed location. We know they do that. We saw that with a tennis player? I forget her name, Pen Ying. I don't know. Pardon me. I'm not racist. I promise. But the tennis player, remember, she had said something about being assaulted by her trainer, being sexually assaulted by her trainer. Then she came out and said, oh, nah, I didn't really say that. That's not really what happened. It was crazy. And the way she said it, it looked like this was a prepared statement. But they try to make it look organic. They had her out there talking to some random person with a phone, but the person was asking very specific questions, like lawyer type questions. If I could find that video, I'll link to it in the description box. Shout out to Lao Wow for bringing that to my attention. Great YouTube channel, by the way, speaking about China, things like that. But they do that in China. Ain't no empathy. Ain't no, well, we're going to give you all the resources to deal with your mental illness. It's like, look, man, put up or shut up. You want to come to China? You want to represent the Chinese? Then you got to do right. And matter of fact, learn Chinese while you at it. You can't just be saying ni hao, ni hao. That ain't enough. Learn your Chinese, your characters, all that good stuff. You really an American for real, for real. I saw an article where they call her, oh, the Californian. It's like, wow. I think it was on like a Chinese adjacent website. It was in English, but I think it was based over there, Singapore or somewhere like that, which is basically a Chinese colony. But anyway, they don't really care. Over here in the States, it's better. So my question to Zhu Yi, a.k.a. Beverly, would be, is it better in Beijing or not? Would you rather just stay here and keep a U.S. citizenship? I wonder how that goes. If you defect, meaning you renounce your citizenship in the U.S., she is no longer a U.S. citizen. Can you come back and apply to get it back? How would that work? Would you kind of go to the back of the line as far as legal immigration would go? I mean, because if you are not a citizen and you're not born here, then you have to go through some things to become a citizen. You can't just say, all right, I'm going to go to the U.S., be a citizen, and it's over with. It's a process. Probably costs money and time and everything else. So if you defect and then try to come back, how does that work? But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what said you? How do you feel about Zhu Yi, a.k.a. Beverly Zhu, defecting from the US, going to China, competing with them, falling, busting their hind parts, and getting torn into. No empathy, no sympathy, none of that. How disgusting. This is an embarrassment. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about other athletes doing this as well? There's another person that had the same kind of story. I think her name is Eileen Gu, like Gu. And this person is actually very well respected over there because she knows the Chinese language, spent summers in China as a child, and is actually performing very well. But if she didn't perform well, if she didn't, become fully Chinese, and it's like, nope, not gonna have it. Oh, here's something else. It's speaking about racism and stuff like that all over the internets and all over mainstream media. Let me ask you this question. What if Beverly Zhu was Shaniqua Zhu? How would that go? Mixed race or not even at all ethnic Chinese? Could you even go over there and really try to compete with China in their Olympics? I've never seen that happen before in my life. Okay, you got ethnic conflict right now between the Uyghurs and the Han, and they look the same if you didn't really know any better. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.